Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
The truth shall set you free.
You can't handle the truth.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
No. I am your father.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
I don't want to brag, but I will. I was in the Avengers.
The Avengers?
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. What is that?
Hasta la vista, baby.
Hello and welcome back to the Creative Control Movie Podcast. I'm your host Kenan and thank you for joining us on our brand new episode 58. Joining me from the Creative Control team, we have our regular Sacha and Lee. How you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Good.
Good,
Yourself?
good. Thanks for... Yeah, good, thank you. Good. Thanks for coming back. Much appreciated. So this week we are back and we are going to be talking The Incredible Hulk, What Next? We are going to talk a little bit about the history of The Incredible Hulk in film, how it's kind of gotten to where it is today, our thoughts on the previous movies, and what we think would be the next best step for Marvel Studios to take the character and, what we want to see, whether it's series, a movie, do we recast? Do we kind of do a reboot? What's the thought process? So we're going to dive into all of that. Just before we do, just want to say thank you very much for joining us again. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below. And you can hit the bell to get notified of our brand new episodes. And if you're listening to us on the podcast, then thank you very much. And just make sure you hit that follow button, whether it's on Spotify, which you can also get the video version of now as well, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all the major platforms. So let's move on to The Incredible Hulk, What's Next? So let's give you a little bit of history. So we're going to go back to 2003, where we got the first Incredible Hulk movie. This was distributed by Universal Pictures because Universal owned the rights to this character for film. This was back in the day when Marvel was selling off their comic book properties left, right, and center to studios to avoid going bankrupt. Obviously, we know Sony purchased Spider-Man. Universal got Hulk and Namor, or Namor, depending how you pronounced it. And so they released a film in 2003, directed by Ang Lee. And we had Eric Bana as Dr. Bruce Banner. We had Jennifer Connelly as Betty Ross, Sam Elliott as General Thunderbolt Ross. We had Nick Nolte as David Banner, the Bruce Banner's father. And we had Josh Lucas as Major Glenn Talbot. So this was a slightly different take than what we were used to in terms of the Hulk. So you had Dr. David Banner. Now, there's not to be confused with the TV show of the Hulk, which actually their character was called David Banner in the TV series. David Banner, this was the Bruce Banner's father. He was a scientist himself. He's been testing him on himself. He has a kid and his genetics get passed down to Bruce and complications ensue. So first of all, I just want to get your guys' thoughts on the 2003 Hulk, directed by Ang Lee. Sacha, did you like this movie when it came out?
Just a quick one. I thought Universal's had the rights anyway due to the TV show. Or was
Quite
that
possibly.
Or was that TV rights different to the movie rights? I don't know. But I know Universal had the original TV show rights because that was a Universal property. And was mainly bought to go with their Universal Monsters kind of banner. Not that it was going to cross over with Dracula and stuff, but it's like the perfect fit
That's
for
a
the
concept.
Hulk. Yeah. The other thing I might add, following this 2003 movie, there were talks for a Marvel TV series by Guillermo del Toro doing a series for the Hulk, but that never came to fruition. But anyway, just thought I'd throw that in there.
No, I appreciate that.
But yeah, the Ang Lee one, I actually really enjoyed the Ang Lee one. Sure, it wasn't as wham bam, thank you, ma'am, as some people would have expected. I'd say my only complaint really is that when he gets to the city where you're like, oh, mad shit's gonna happen, he kind of like Betty and he de-hulks and you know what I mean? But otherwise, when he does finally like go nuts, it feels earned. Because you've been waiting the whole time, and I liked it. I liked the comic book kind of panels that Ang Lee kind of.
That's right, shifting from scene to scene.
Shifting from scene to scene. I really liked that. I liked Eric Bana's performance. He's not my favorite Hulk actor, but not that he was bad in it. He wasn't. He made he made the role his own in the way that he could. He was probably a bit more serious than I would have liked Bruce to be, but that was the tone of the movie. So that's again not the actor's fault. It's just him being given material there. But all in all, I thought everyone was well cast. I really like Sam Elliott as Ross, General Ross. I like Jennifer Connelly as Betty. And the only thing missing from that movie for me was Rick on the bass with his little moped or something. But you can't get them all. But no, I really liked it. The change to the origin. Sure, they just kind of updated a little bit and did a little bit of hey, look, David and Bruce as an homage to the show. I like the cameos, having Lou Ferrigno in there. I really like the fact that Lou Ferrigno did the Hulk's voice in this one, which he does kind of in all the other ones, but we'll get to that later. I liked the Stan Lee cameo as well with Lou. What else did I like about it? It was generally cool. And I must say,
Hulk was big as well.
Best, yeah, that strayed from the material because I didn't remember Hulk getting bigger the more angry he got. But I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it as much as some people did. And I liked the TV spot for the Super Bowl TV spot they had when they first trailer of it. Kind of sold me. CGI was cutting edge for the time. A little bit dated now because there's a few shots where it looks a bit Shrekky, if you know what I mean. But back for 2003, that was, creme de la creme. So, but more, I liked it.
Yeah. No, I'd agree. I think it was a really solid movie, and we didn't have a plethora of superhero movies at that point, so it was great. When he turned into the Hulk, some of it was great. He has a fast run. I remember like running through the desert and stuff like that. You had the huge leaps and bounds. He picked up the tanks and just threw them. It showed his powers and stuff like that. So yeah, it was I thought it was really strong. Like I say, I know what you mean by sort of like the Bruce Banner. It was quite serious and a little bit dark in some places because it's talking about child trauma. Because obviously his mother dies when he's young. It's a result of what his dad's done. So he's got all this suppressed feelings and stuff like that. So it dealt with a lot of stuff there, which you probably wouldn't get as deep in comic books these days. So it was a really different take on that. Lee, what did you think of it?
Yeah, I think I echo what Sach said. The cast was really good. I think they all had good chemistry. The storyline, I think, it did kind of follow the origin. Am I right? That the dad was sort of something from the dad or genetically from the dad.
I don't remember that being in the comics.
To Bruce?
No, it was kind of more like what Radioactive Man from The Simpsons. That's basically the origin of the Hulk.
Yeah, he just gets caught in
gamma
radiation.
I don't quite know how he would survive that amount of gamma. What there must have been something about him that because anyone else would have just died from that sort of.
That's right. It kind of made it more logical as well. With it something being passed down to him to make him as like be like a immune thing that would.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah.
No, I really enjoyed it, and the only thing I don't know is probably because at the time I was a really big fan of the TV series when I was a kid. I mean, I watched it. I think it was sort of one of those Saturday morning programs or whatever Saturday afternoon programs, and I'd watch it religiously, and I had Thor in it as well. It was just brilliant.
And that theme tune when he's just walking away, where he's hitchhiking at the end. It's just like. It's in your head.
It was just such a brilliant series. So when the film obviously was getting released, I was really excited about it, and I think it did. I think at the time it was really good to see. But you watch it back now and you think some of the effects, but I guess that's like most films you think, it looks a little bit dated. And I know he was going through the comic book vibe, where obviously you had the like you say, the in between the scenes showing the comic slides and stuff like that, which is cool. But which was good, but. I don't know, sort of like the films that are being released now, it's kind of trying to make it more into like present day type things, what they've done with the recent Hulk.
Yeah, they embraced
But
a
no,
different
overall,
style.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, they embraced a
Yeah.
different style. And I remember there was the one bit where it was the explosion. You kind of got that freeze frame. I think it was it Josh Lucas?
Yeah.
You know, the explosion behind him with freeze frame, and then it moves on to the next panel. I always remember that one from the panels. That was jokes. Okay, so then roll on to 2008, and we have The Incredible Hulk. So, again, this was released and distributed by Universal, who own the rights, but it was co-produced with Marvel Studios. So, Marvel Studios effectively created the movie, and it was the second movie in their sort of for Marvel Studios after Iron Man. But obviously, because of the rights issues, it was still distributed from Universal. So Hulk Bruce Banner was recast, and we had Edward Norton and obviously Liv Tyler as Betty. Again, it was mixed reactions when it came out. Again, a film that I really enjoyed. There was very much talk about a sequel when that first came out, and the directors confirmed. He said there was a whole sequel. They had plans for Grey Hulk, Red Hulk. There was lots of stuff that they were planning. However, a lot of stuff has come out since, not so much at the time because of the way news media is reported. But during production on The Incredible Hulk, Edward Norton attempted to exert some creative control, once more making changes to Zach Penn's script. So he wanted a writing credit for the film as well, but the Writers Guild of America refused to give him one after reviewing his rewrites. That they didn't say he made enough changes for it to be to give him that credit according to the WGA. And director Louis Leterrier, he's also said that there's a big clash between Norton and the producers and stuff like that. And because of all that, when the film came out, basically Norton just didn't promote the film. He didn't do really hardly any junkets, and he just wasn't present on it at all. So it came out to, we weren't aware of this at the time, but like I say, afterwards, all that kind of stuff's been revealed. And obviously, moving forward with the MCU, that probably soured the grapes a little bit in terms of that relationship. And, we got something different. But 2008 Hulk, I remember it had a strong ending. I think it was you in some ways you could say it kind of moved on from the first movie if you wanted it to. But so they kind of implied they could, because I think it starts with him in the Amazon, and I think it finished the previous movie with that one as well, if I think I'm right. But you had Edward Norton in there, sort of thing, and I thought he was a really good Bruce Banner. I did like him. I like the fact they brought in some bits and pieces with the gimmicks where he's monitoring his heart rate and stuff for his watch. Abomination in this was fantastic. Tim Roth was fantastic in this film. I thought he was brilliant. And, with the whole starting off with the whole super soldier serum and that kind of intertwined. And you had that post-credit scene at the end as well, which kind of drew into that kind of future Avengers stuff and the tie-in with Iron Man. So, Lee, what did you think of the 2008 Incredible Hulk?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, and then it's well cast again. Yeah, Edward Norton was good. I thought what he was doing about, monitoring his heart rate. I thought that was a good idea. Just added an element to what he was going through, and how he was trying to control it.
There's more humor in this one as well.
The storyline was good. Yeah, he was a little bit more, like you say, a bit more lightheartedness, and would make a few jokey comments and everything. So to make it a little bit more, I guess, fun. What else? Like you said, Tim Roth was he was awesome. But then he's pretty much good in everything he does, isn't he? He was really had that sort of edge to his performance. It was really quite. Yeah, it's unsettling, and what obviously he changes into at the end there. It's what a finish to that. But it's a shame again.
Yeah, we got a big bombastic scene at the end, didn't we? Where the first one we didn't.
Yeah.
But this one is two juggernauts going at each other and just ripping each other apart.
Yeah, it's just like I say, it's a shame that it seems they don't sort of continue the story. You got two films here that have, we all enjoyed, but they just haven't managed to. Something's happened or stopped it from going any further forward.
Yeah,
you don't want to keep rehashing it. Well, we're going to that later, but
yeah, no, exactly. We'll move on to that. So, Sacha, The Incredible Hulk, what are your thoughts?
Best Hulk movie ever made, man.
In terms of that incarnation,
yeah. I mean, like it's a Hulk movie. It was everything I wanted from a Hulk movie. I love the again, with Marvel and their little homages and stuff, if you haven't played Hulk Ultimate Destruction on the PS1, when he rips, that's an actual move in the game when he rips a car in two and he uses both parts as like gloves and he beats, you know what I mean? Everyone that played that game cheered, basically. The other thing is, though, in regards to video games, I actually worked on the Incredible Hulk and the Iron Man video games at Sega. During production of the movie, or of those two movies. So I'd seen rough cuts. When I say rough cuts, as in the video game version of what the story would be for these films. So with Hulk, in the game, it actually starts off with him in Antarctica, and he gets a gun. Him as Bruce Banner, he gets a gun and he tries to kill himself. And he, you know, as the bullet is fired, you know, the camera reveals Hulk, kind of thing. So Hulk stopped him from killing them, and it was actually filmed and it was cut, but it was
because I think because of the rating, right? Because I think Hulk spits the bullet out or something, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but it's referenced in Avengers because he talks about trying to kill himself in Avengers 1. You know, to the team when they're on the what's that,
the helicarrier.
Yeah. So but yeah, no, that's a quick kind of thing about my involvement in the Hulk game. But yeah, I worked on that. I remember doing a shift where I had to destroy every building in New York. That was a good shift.
That's a cool shift. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no. In terms of the movie, no. Yeah, Edward Norton, best actor to ever play Bruce Banner, in my opinion. He's so much the character. I've always imagined. Still not my first choice for actor to play him, but you know what? He's a good second kind of thing. My guy's never been cast. Always been talked about, never been cast, but we'll get to that. But yeah, no, yeah, loved his performance. I felt who's Betty Ross this time round? It was Liv Tyler, fantastic casting. To be quite honest, I get her and Jennifer Connelly mixed up all the time, and it's probably down to these two
similar.
films.
Yeah, that's right.
But you know what? It was a very, very good, second choices, I guess, for Marvel or whatnot. Was a bit disappointed that Sam Elliott didn't come back because I felt he nailed it in the previous film because he could just pull the role off with a look. You know what I mean? And I liked what is it, William Hurt?
Yeah,
William Hurt.
Yeah.
I liked what he did with it, kind of thing. He was fine. Yeah, it was good. Abomination being the villain, Tim Roth, excellent, as you guys have said. And the fights were a lot better. The destruction was a lot better. And it just felt like what you wanted from a Hulk movie, with him on the run, with the army after him, and you know what I mean. That's kind of what you want from a Hulk movie, anyway, with him trying to cure himself. And yeah, but with going back to the first film, because I missed out something. One of the things I didn't like was the end fight. The fight between him and his father was a little bit lackluster towards the end, but they really topped that with this movie with Abomination. My only complaint about this movie is that the CGI was a complete step down to the previous film. Because the previous film, you had Industrial Light and Magic doing all the digital effects, and they looked state of the art for 2003. Moving forward to 2008, this looked like something out of a PS2 video game, not even PS3, but a PS2. Even the Hulk design looked far too cartoony. Just looks terrible. Even looking at it now, it looks god awful. But that aside, still really enjoyable. Jokes, yeah.
Had a really great teaser poster, I remember, as well, when you had Bruce Banner walking forward against the back of the Hulk and stuff like that. There's some really great marketing for this. Also, this movie had Tim Blake Nelson, who plays Samuel Stearns, who he gets some of the Hulk's blood in his head, and you start seeing it swelling, which is going to lead to, which was supposed to lead potentially for a sequel in that character and the leader and stuff like that. So, but again, positive experience, but you know, politics and stuff like that, we ended up with a recasting. Marvel then obviously decided to announce their sort of like major Avengers initiative, and they recast the Hulk again, and we got Mark Ruffalo. And so then we next saw the Hulk in Avengers, or Avengers Assemble, depending where in the world that you are. And it was probably the most, in terms of the CGI, in terms of the graphic art, it's probably the best version of the Hulk I think we've had, was the Avengers in that movie. You really got the separation still between sort of like Bruce Banner and the Hulk. Bruce Banner did come off as, very intelligent, and, kind of on par with Tony Stark in terms of what he could bring to the table. And some of the scenes, like the scene where he's chasing Black Widow through the helicarrier and things just breaking all around of it, there's just some really fantastic parts. And then you got that scene towards the end of the movie where the secret is I'm always angry, turns, punches the big alien thing flying at him. Incredible shots, great humor as well from it. Captain America's like Hulk smash, he goes and he's ripping the Chitauri apart. The way he punches Thor after they've had a fight, because they've got that chemistry thing going on between them. Really enjoyed it. And I agree with Sash. I probably, in terms of a Bruce Banner, I would have loved to have seen Edward Norton in that world interacting with those other actors, but for what it was, and we got Mark Ruffalo, I think he done a stellar job. So Sash, what did you think of Avengers Hulk?
CGI was on point. ILM were back, so they improved upon what they did with the original, the 2003 one. And they even the voice, like Ruffalo did the voice, but then they overlaid the voice with because they always get who's the guy?
Lou Ferrigno.
Huh? Yeah, Lou Ferrigno. They brought him back in to redo the voice, so it's both of them speaking lines with both layered over each other to get the Hulk voice. So you get kind of like a mix of the two. And that's how that, I like that little nod. But like, what do you call it? In terms of Mark Ruffalo grew on me. Okay. He's not, as a comic book fan, he's not Bruce Banner, but he made the role his own. He's likable as Mark Ruffalo kind of thing. And, he grew on me. Like during that movie was so good. You know what I mean? You just kind of forgave it. You know what I mean? Like you just kind of forgave it and you just kind of went with it. And sure, he's not really like the typical like version of Bruce that one would expect, but I'm used to him now. It's grown on me. I'm fine with Ruffalo kind of thing. Just shame he hasn't got a standalone movie.
And I forgot about the scene with Loki and him thrashing around. That was hilarious. I remember watching that for the first time, and that was amazing. Lee, what would you think about Avengers Hulk? Yeah, the Thor thing.
Stole the show.
Yeah.
How much people wanted a Hulk movie after Avengers? After coming out of Avengers, everyone wanted a Hulk movie. You know what I mean?
And that's what we'll come on to. So yeah, Lee, what did you think of Avengers Hulk?
Yeah, I think I agree with both of you. Mark Ruffalo, he's done a good job. I think he fit in with the cast. I think he brought fun to the character, which I think kind of was what that character needed maybe at that time, because of the previous films, they're a bit more sort of serious and so and say that character fitted into the Avengers perfectly, and then they brought comic, and like you say, those scenes where he's thrashing Loki around and punching Thor, like just made people like the character more because of what the Hulk is. It's quite a difficult character, to present in a film or a TV series, because he doesn't really communicate much as the Hulk. So when you've got him, punching Thor and throwing, that's what his character is. So showing his character in scenes like that, it was brilliant.
Yeah, no, I think you're both right, and I think like Sasha said, it was at that point that there was so much love for the Hulk. It would have been the perfect opportunity to release a new Hulk movie. Because we had our Thor sequels, we had Iron Man, we had Captain America, we had all those sequels, but nothing for Hulk, and he was only appearing in Avengers movies. So the reason behind that is obviously the rights were still owned by Universal in terms of the movie. So Universal and Marvel Studios came to an agreement where the Hulk could appear in Marvel projects, and there was no issue regarding that. However, if Marvel Studios were to produce a movie which was solely the Hulk, or it had Hulk in the title of the movie, Marvel Studios was legally obligated to give the distribution rights to the project to Universal, and that would entail splitting the box office receipts between the two parties. And that's something they could just never agree on what that looked like. Because obviously Marvel Studios, they wanted every film to be distributed by themselves, by Disney. Well, eventually when they became part of Disney. So they, that was really, really important to them. And they didn't want to have Universal to have those distribution rights. And they just couldn't get the rights back. So that's why we've only ever had appearances. And obviously now what we've seen the Hulk. She-Hulk was something a bit different. I don't believe the Universal ever bought the rights to She-Hulk, so that's why Marvel was able to do the She-Hulk series and then Hulk appear in it. And then we sort of like have this progression from the Avengers of the Hulk and his different incarnations. So at Age of Ultron, you have a slightly different version of him where Black Widow and him have a bit of a relationship. She's able to calm him down. Then we have Hulk in Thor Ragnarok. Which again, he's disappears. He spent all that time in Qatar, is it? I think it is, or Sakar, and he's learning to speak more as the Hulk. He's trapped as the Hulk for a long time, and in that movie, he reverts back to Bruce, and it's been like 2 years or something that he hasn't been Bruce. And then Infinity War, again, we have that struggle between him and Bruce Banner. Obviously, he got thrashed by Thanos, and then Hulk doesn't want to come out anymore, and you have that disconjoint between the two. 5 years later, we move to Endgame, and we have Professor Hulk, which was something I don't think many people expected at that point. And for me, I think they moved the character on too quickly through that processes, because we didn't have that Hulk movie as their way of moving the character forward and having those storylines kind of thread throughout. But Professor Hulk kind of worked for the movie, but I missed having our normal Hulk, especially when it came to that final battle in Endgame. I wanted a big green mad Hulk, not this guy wearing spandex full suits and stuff like that. But anyway, so Lee, how have you enjoyed the Hulk's progression through the MCU up until kind of She-Hulk?
Yeah, I think exactly like the first Avengers. I think that character has played a massive part in all the films, and especially like Ragnarok. That was awesome. He was so funny in that, and just the scene right at the end when Ragnarok's happening and they've sort of like won the battle, and he's jumping up towards that demon, going like to smash him. That is so funny. I'm well happy with the outcome there. Like you say, it's just a shame that Mark Ruffalo hasn't got his standalone movie and pushing that character along, and the villains that he faces is the Hulk,
And he's spoken about that as well. He's in interviews, he said it's something we'd like to do, but Universal don't want to play ball, whether it's Universal and Disney. But obviously discussions have been had, but they couldn't make it work. Sacha, what are your thoughts on the way Hulk has progressed through the MCU?
Yeah, it's been fine. I'm not a fan of the She-Hulk show, but he's fine in it. What he did in it was fine because it's not his show. You know what I mean? That's perfectly fine. He was there for the origin, advice and stuff. We're just waiting around for when he shows up again in real MCU. So, but. No, like each time Ruffalo has come in, it's been good. You guys mentioned Thor Ragnarok. That was fantastic. That was fantastic development of the character there, adding more of what works with the Hulk really well, making him a big giant baby. Kind of stole the show at the start of Infinity War. But yeah, I do get people's concerns about Endgame because Smart Hulk wasn't well liked amongst a lot of people, but he's an actor. He wants to play the character differently every time to keep it fresh and keep him coming back. I didn't have a problem with that. Happens in the comics. Would it have worked better in a full movie? Yeah, it would have for a little bit, but you want to see Hulk like You know what I mean? Get mad. And I think the
Yeah.
main people why people were a little bit pissed off with that was because they wanted that rematch. Everyone was expecting a rematch between Hulk and Thanos, you know.
Yes, exactly
So
that. Yeah.
there was so much going on in Endgame. That could have easily been like a 4-hour movie with that end battle. So
You only missed it on retrospect. You know what I mean? When you're watching the movie,
Yeah.
you're not missing it. You don't think, oh,
Yeah.
if Hulk was it. It's only when you go back and really think about it, you think, oh, I would have liked this or I like this. It didn't, in fact, impact the enjoyment of that movie at all. It's one of the
The
greatest
movie was
comic
too
book
good.
yeah,
movies.
I mean,
So yeah,
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, that end fight scene battle is quite long as it is,
Mm.
and there's a billion ideas they could have done in there. You know what I mean? And there's a billion ideas that were cut from that movie. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And
Well, we
it's
had
cut for the
Hulk busting
runtime.
out of the armor, the five
Yeah.
Wakanda. You know where Bruce is in the suit and Hulk busts out. That whole thing was cut. So we
Yeah,
know that
so-
there's definitely other stuff with Hulk that was there, but like you say, time constraints couldn't fit it all in.
Yeah, I mean, if those things were longer, you know what I mean? Like, would the movie still have the impact? Would the audience? And I'm not talking about the comic book audience, but I'm talking about the casual audience. Would they lose interest in, you know, because there's all this action going on? That you ever watch an action film when so much stuff is going on, but you just don't care? Fast and Furious, pay attention. You know. You just get so pacing is key, and
Yes.
you know, unfortunately you have to kill your babies sometimes, and sure they could do a director's cut and put those little snippets on the DVD or Blu-ray and have like a longer cut. That's fine, but Marvel haven't done that yet. Maybe hopefully one day they will, and maybe we'll get these goodies and stuff, but you know, like the Hulkbuster thing and whatnot. But you know, it is what it is. But generally I've liked his progression in the MCU. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So to catch up where we are today, so the last time we kind of saw Hulk was in She-Hulk. Obviously, it was revealed that he was involved with his cousin and obviously her creation, which you know was done retrospectively. Then at the very end of the series, Hulk shows up and he has a son called Scar, and apparently he had this kid whilst he was in Sakaar when he was Hulk for those 2 years during Thor Ragnarok. And it kind of teases that kind of Hulk movie adaptation of World War Hulk, potentially, which is a big comic book storyline. To give you a little bit of an idea of who Scar is, so he's the son of Hulk and I don't know if it's called Kyara or Sierra, the Old Strong. She's like an extraterrestrial native on the planet of Sakaar. And he was conceived during the time where Hulk was just the Hulk for those 2 years. So he leaves, and then apparently, like in the comics, he emerges from a cocoon and he's almost called kind of like a preteen age, and he matures rapidly to an adult within just 1 year. So that explains why in the series he appears to be a young adult, because of his genetics and the crossing over of the two species. He just gets older a lot quicker. So he turns up with this full kind of son, and we're like, holy crap, where is this going to go? So we've got Hulk, She-Hulk, and Sakaar. Scar. Then we've got Captain America 4 or Captain America Brave New World, which is going to be the new Captain America movie. So Liv Tyler is coming back as Betty. So that ties back into the Incredible Hulk movie. We also have Tim Blake Nelson coming back, who we spoke about earlier, who's potentially going to become the leader. So he's coming back from that movie. And they were going to have William Hurt come back as Ross, but unfortunately he passed away. So that has now been recast, and we've got Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross. And there's talked about him becoming Red Hulk and so forth. So that's the next time we expect to see Hulk, because it'd be very strange to have all those guys in there if you're not going to have normal, Hulk in there. So that's the next time we expect to see him. That's where we are with him at the moment. Now, in terms of the Hulk, earlier this year, back in June, the Incredible Hulk appeared on Disney Plus for the first time. So it appears now, because it's been 15 years since the 2008 Hulk, the rights have now moved back to Marvel. So they now have the rights for the Hulk to be able to produce a standalone movie. So the anticipation is that is something that might happen after Captain America 4. obviously no such thing exists with Sony because they're still producing movies. They're producing Morbius movies and Craven the Hunter movies and all sorts of crap to keep the IP going. But Universal sat on their laurels, didn't do anything with it in terms of a solo movie, and now that's lapsed over. So they've got that, and they've got Namor back as well. So bearing in mind that the MCU now has the rights for Hulk, we've got Hulk set up right after She-Hulk. I'm interested to see what you guys want to see from Hulk now. Do you want to see a solo movie? Has that time passed? Do we need to get a different version of the Hulk? Do we want to see Bruce and the Hulk split again, so we have that getting angry kind of thing? What do you guys kind of want to see from the character? Because the way that the MCU is moving forward, I don't think a reboot's kind of what we can expect. And Scar isn't a character who has a different side. I think he's like his Hulk version all the time. So what do you guys want to see? Lee, I'm going to start with you. What do you want to see from the Hulk? What next?
It's a tough one. I mean, it depends on what you want, how much you want to sort of explore that character. Because, like you said, over the last few movies, he's been a sort of like a sidekick. He hasn't had the center stage, but I don't know whether the time has passed now. Like, how far with Mark Ruffalo do you take it? Because obviously he's got older now, and I mean, I'm sure he could obviously still play the role, but it's where does he go within the MCU? Where does the future lie for him? So, but no, it'd be interesting to see. I'd be interested in take the character, like you were just talking about this, the movie of, is it in Captain America? You said
Captain America 4, yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what happens in that, and then going on that, yeah, what the outcome is of that, what the next sort of standalone movie would be. I would like to see. I think he's earned it. I think Mark Ruffalo has earned his standalone movie. But for me, I wouldn't mind seeing a whole sort of like start again, whether they've done it with a series and got into more of Bruce Banner, that character, and maybe slowly becoming in the more character development, really, rather than just what's sort of been happening in the last few movies. Just sort of focus on him, like you're saying, going back to the original series with the reporter trying to find out who he is, or there's something about him, and then he's moving from place to place, and like you say, trying to find a cure for himself, and rescuing and saving people and meeting other characters along the way. But I don't know how that could be a multiverse thing, it could be run on the side. I don't know how it would fit in, or it might be just a completely separate thing, like DC are doing, where you focus on this character and you bring it up through the years, or they could do it that now they've got the rights, they could go back and Mark Ruffalo a bit of de-aging, and he could have he could have his own story and use shots and scenes from
kind of set it around
the recent films
time
and
or
sort
something.
Exactly, sort of tie
I don't
things
even
around
think
those
you have
movies,
to de-age him. He's not that much older. It's just hair dye. It's like 10 years. You know what I mean? He's not aged particularly. He's not aged badly. You know what I mean?
Cover it with
Like,
makeup. You could cover it with makeup.
You could easily do it with makeup. If they were to do it tomorrow, they could easily
airbrush.
Yeah, they could easily do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, some nice thoughts there, definitely. Okay, Sasha, what do you want to see from the Hulk? What's next?
Okay. I agree with everything Lee. I agree with everything Lee has to say, but I've thought about this long and hard. Okay, so all right, no CGI makeup. It's only been 10 years since. It's only really been 10, 15 years. You know what I mean? He still looks quite spry for his age. And here's the thing. All right, we've had Phase 1 Hulk. Okay. What if there was a second movie in Phase 1 where he ends up in India? He has to go from Canada and end up in India. That's our through line, okay?
Okay.
What if I'm a big fan of the Ang Lee one, okay? What if we reference that so we have that lore? He's trying to follow his father's research kind of thing. That's why he's changed his name to David at the end of The Incredible Hulk, because he does name himself David Banner. Maybe he's trying to use that identity to get get certain pieces of research and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm just spitballing here. Okay,
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
movie
go.
one. This is
Sasha's
movie one.
cooking.
All
Sasha's
right,
cooking.
this is movie one. Okay, and like you know, he's following the research. You could have like a callback to Nick Nolte and voiceover, like reading
Mhm.
words and stuff like that. You can you know what I mean, bring back Talbot, get the same actor. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because multiverse, you know, at this point, it's not really going to matter. And include that movie, include the bastard stepchild into the MCU, basically, and embrace it, and just pretend they both happened. As one many times he tried to get cured.
If
Have
you can bring
Thunderbolt
two
Ross,
different Spider-Man in, you can bring another Hulk in.
yeah. So have Thunderbolt Ross after him, and more importantly, bring my boy Rick. Bring him in with his moped as the young guy that's involved and stuff. You know what I mean? Like helping him out and stuff like that. I want to see Rick? Okay,
Mhm.
and you know what? My references are the old TV show, the 80s cartoon,
Mhm.
and Harrison Ford's The Fugitive. Okay, hands
Mm.
down, him running around, escaping in ambulances. I didn't kill my wife. Jumps over a thing, have a reference. I don't know. Have Harrison Ford chasing him. He's got the gun. He's like, you know what I mean? Do all kinds of crazy stuff in that movie, but have him fuck off to India. You know what I mean? Then
Yeah.
have like Nick Fury and the Shield guy. It's kind of like he's an asset in that second movie. Shield are after him because they
Mhm.
don't want to contain him. They want to help him. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
For their own needs. But he
Use
doesn't
him
know who the hell
effectively.
Nick Fury is.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you've got like two, and this could be a lower budget movie. It doesn't have to be like a $200 million movie. Maybe you could cameo the leader and stuff and have a big bad.
Mhm.
But I still think with the way the economy is now, you want to go. You want to have a. It's not a reboot. It is a
Mhm.
in between crawl, but it's bringing it back to the bare bones of what makes the character,
Mhm.
and in for new audiences to get on board. And then
Mhm.
there'll be, because you can quickly have quick flashes to the other movies or versions of that, but have Ruffalo reenact those pieces in the intro. You know what I mean?
Right.
In the
Okay. Yeah.
intro,
Yeah.
also making them canon, and also, you know, it's just another Hulk adventure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bring
They
that lonely
referenced
man.
it in She-Hulk, didn't they? When they did the
Yeah,
intro retro style from the TV
yeah,
show.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you could do that. You could be creative, do that. So that way it's a sequel, but it's also kind of like, hey guys, this is a starting from the bottom again, kind of
Mhm.
thing, bringing all the elements. And for the MCU, if you want to throw in something for Phase 5 or 6 or 10,000, you can throw it in there so that there's a
Yeah.
reason to watch it. And then when you watch them all in order, you're
Mhm.
like, oh fuck, that was referenced in that movie ages ago, or the people brand new to the MCU, because there will be
Mhm.
people that are brand new to it that never seen these films before. They'll be like, oh, remember that? It's all over there, and you know what I mean? Like, right, it's a
Mhm.
thing, like little Easter eggs and shit. But you make it like a him on the run thing, him helping people, bringing it back to basics. You have that humor, yeah, in. But that's just one film. See, the second
Okay.
film I do after that in phase 2, okay, isn't an Incredible Hulk film, okay? Iron Man 4, okay? Iron Man 4, set before Avengers 2, all right? All right, I'm being serious as well. Iron Man 4, set before Avengers 2, after Iron Man 3, okay?
Mhm.
We have the real Mandarin. He's still out there, okay? Because I want my Mandarin, all right? I have
Yes.
to go through the Iron Man shit, okay? I want that. You have a villain of the week. Iron Man has many. They haven't even touched yet. So let's do it. Let's bring in Tony Long as a cameo, like the Emperor from Star Wars, because he's the big bad in the Iron Man
Mhm.
second trilogy. We're bringing it up for the showdown between Iron Man and him. Where does Hulk fit into this? Well, great. One of the greatest episodes of The Incredible Hulk was when he had to go around Iron Man's house and literally go like, yo, I need to get cured. And you're like the smartest guy I know. And Iron Man's like, yeah, I'll help you, Bruce. Let's go. And then like Shield come and all crazy shit starts going down. The house gets mashed up and whatnot. I want to see that shit in real life, and I want photo cannon in there because I'm an Iron Man fan. So Iron Man 4, Hulk 2, yeah, that's what I want to see for the in between, after that one. So basically, what I'm saying is, I want to make Ang Lee's Hulk canon. I want this to be the first one to be a sequel. I want an Iron Man 4 to continue the story, as you will. He doesn't get cured. He fucks off. And then we go into Hulk 4. How many are we doing here? Wait.
As many as you want.
So Hulk, Incredible Hulk, True Hulk sequel, Iron Man 4, which is Hulk 4. Yeah. Okay. But no, yeah. Real Hulk 4, which will be in phase 3, right? Phase 3. He's gone to Sakaar, right? He's gone to no. Sakaar is where? Is that the Hulk planet?
That's that's where he was being a gladiator.
No.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I know where I am. Planet Hulk, give it to us. Let's go. Let's go in. Let's go into Planet Hulk because every motherfucker's seen Age of Ultron. He's gone up. You know what I mean? Let's do it. Let's do it now. And stuff you could do in that Hulk movie. You could have fucking Natasha like help him out and shit and stuff like that and build on that chemistry and have Betty get jealous. Yeah, I'm in.
Wow. Okay. Sasha has thought about this.
Yeah, I have. And then wait for it after, because after the Scar thing, then you do your Hulk 5 where it's post Endgame and shit and like whatever. You know what I mean? But I'm talking like, what's it, Hulk trilogy and a cameo, not even a glorified cameo in Iron Man 4. Fuck it. Actually, you know what? It doesn't have to be a cameo. They're boys. You know what I mean? If you're going to get RDJ back, you may as well throw in his boy
Ragnarok,
there.
you had, it was a Thor movie, but Hulk was in it for half of it. So
make him a supporting. Make him a supporting in there. You know what I mean? He's on the run. He's like, yeah, I'm on the run. Whatever. Tony's like, yeah, come to my crib. I've got this Chinese guy.
It's a shame about the rights because that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Was that?
If they would have said it's a shame about the rights, but that would have been perfect. That would have just fit in perfectly, wouldn't it?
If they'd done it at the time. Yeah.
In fact, you know what they could do? You know what would be great? RDJ is like, yeah, I'm seeing this really good. I've got this guy that's helping me with stuff, and I think he'd be really good for suppressing the Hulk for a few days or something. Maybe this might work. And he rolls in Professor X.
Yeah. Nice.
I don't know, man. I mean, you could do it and then have Patrick Stewart come in and be a part of that. I'm just throwing in cameos where I can.
No, absolutely.
But you know what? You know what the ultimate one would be? Okay, here's the real one you should do in that second film. I know who you get in that film, the film after Incredible Hulk with the India stuff. I know who you get. This one, the end boss, the main villain, all right, of that movie. If we're going low budget and no CGI shit, bring in Hugh Jackman.
Hulk versus Wolverine.
Wolverine versus Hulk. Done.
Yeah.
Because Wolverine started in Hulk. Everyone wants that throwdown who's a comic book fan.
Yes.
That's who the villain should be.
Awesome.
So recap.
Maybe Wolverine is being used by Weapon X to track down the Hulk, to capture him, and then that's when you get them fighting.
Maybe I didn't think that, or I'm not feeling that. I don't know where they'd fight. Someone more important, like that knows their shit. Where's Neil? This sounds like a tag team, man. We need that shit. But yeah, I'd go nuts. But that's what I'd see. Okay. Sidestep with MCU stuff. I'm telling you, in Captain Marvel, I want Anna Paquin to just show up and take her powers.
Oh yeah. No, I got you. I feel you. Feel you.
That needs to happen.
So just before we move on, Sasha, who was your dream cast of Bruce Banner that has never been cast?
David Duchovny.
Yeah, I thought it was.
David Duchovny is Bruce Banner. I'm sorry, hands down. He was supposed to be in the Ang Lee one, couldn't do it because of Evolution. Fuck, man. We could have had David Duchovny.
So close.
They wanted him again, but then what was it? Marvel wanted him, but Universal wanted
Norton.
because he's a bigger star.
Yeah.
And then the reason why they got Ruffalo is because he's Robert Downey Jr.'s boy. So yeah.
What
Yeah,
about
what
was it
could have
about
been?
Duchovny that makes you think Bruce Banner?
He looked like him in the 90s, man. In the 90s, they
Yeah, the
whoever the artist,
mannerisms.
mannerisms as well as Mulder as well.
Mhm.
He's nerdy as hell. He's got that Bruce look. If you see how Bruce is drawn in the comics, in the 90s comics specifically, and it's just like, especially in Ultimates as well. But like he'd be perfect, man. But yeah, never happened. Never happened.
Okay. All right, good
Yeah.
shout. The Hulk, what next for me? I would, if I was in creative control now of Marvel Studios, I would, we've seen the Hulk kind of progress to this smart Hulk, but I think now we need a change. So I would kind of bring this in Captain America 4. The fact you've got Betty in there, I would say he then takes a look at himself and thinks, okay, as much as I was happy with both, to be with Betty, I kind of need to be Bruce again, and maybe I can get rid of the Hulk full time now. So with Thunderbolt Ross and the army and all that super soldier stuff, maybe they do take his next step where he actually does undergo a procedure where he's going to try and kill off the Hulk. But obviously it goes wrong and it reverts him back to original. So you have Bruce Banner get angry and then Hulk. And in that you could have then Thunderbolt Ross as part of that procedure. He gets infected and he turns into Red Hulk, and you kind of then use that part of it. So then that way we have both Bruce Banner and the Hulk. And then I want to see then like maybe Bruce and Betty go off and like maybe he does go on the run again because he can't control the Hulk, and because you don't have the same, the Avengers aren't necessarily the Avengers anymore. So it's a case of they're afraid of the Hulk again now because he doesn't seem to be able to be in control. So they want to chase him down and confine him again. And you just take that back. But obviously now he's got his kid, Scar. Maybe you actually separate the Hulk from Bruce Banner for a period. So you actually have them as two separate characters. And then Hulk can go off and do his World War Hulk thing. And Bruce Banner stays down here on Earth. And then eventually they find that they're both dying because they're apart for so long and they need to remerge to do that forward. I thought that might be quite an interesting take, something that we haven't seen before. So in terms of what I was thinking, then I would actually probably do something like that. I would actually separate Hulk from Bruce Banner, have Hulk go back to Sakaar with Scar, his son, to kind of claim that planet because they know him as the Gladiator and he beat everybody. He now takes over there and kind of runs it. Because he's a little bit smarter than he was when he was Ragnarok Hulk. And
you know how you
then
split him from Banner?
In Captain America 4. So he goes in a procedure to try and kill the Hulk, but instead of killing him, it separates them.
Oh, okay. So, does that happen in the comics? Because I know it happened.
No, this is just me. I have no idea.
Okay. So
this
in the comics, they do separate as two separate entities, but they can't live without the other half. And
right. Okay.
The reason that happens is because of Onslaught.
Right. Okay.
X-Men
so I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
So
the
X-Men
fight
me.
Onslaught. Okay. So Onslaught. Okay. This is stuff I do know because this is my era of comic book collecting. Okay. X-Men. All right. So when Professor X loses it and his physical manifestation of like his dark side comes out, it creates the being that is Onslaught, which is this fucking massive thing that kind of looks like evil Magneto. If you think Magneto's evil, you ain't seen Onslaught, basically. Onslaught's so powerful, he took out Juggernaut, like literally. Okay. So, but it took all the Avengers, all the X-Men, everybody, except for Spider-Man, because he was somewhere else at the time, to take down Onslaught. And basically the person that made the dent into Onslaught was Hulk, because when he smacks Hulk, when he smacks Onslaught, he hits him so hard that he becomes two entities, Bruce and Hulk, and they both get knocked out. And then what happens is when the heroes disappear into the pocket dimension, because it opens up a pocket dimension and shit, Hulk goes in, but Banner's out. Banner stays, he's unconscious. Hulk goes in with Fantastic Four, Avengers, and they're all gone. All those heroes are gone. They disappear because they've gone into another universe kind of thing, like a pocket dimension. And like, it's mad. And then like Bruce is like literally on death's door. Like as the year goes by, in comics, he's ill and shit. And Hulk's just like in that pocket dimension. He's just a monster because there's no Bruce kind of thing.
Yeah,
So,
that's kind of what I was going for. So I think for me, it's a kind of, for me, separating him in Captain America 4, he goes off to Sky, he takes over, and talk a little bit sort of like a gladiator style movie where he kind of rises up and kind of takes over the place.
Oh yeah, that's Planet Hulk.
Yeah. So then, but then this is me. I'm not talking about the comics because this is MCU.
Okay,
this is MCU. Sure. So basically, then what will happen is he starts to get too powerful. So for the Illuminati, so what they do is then they banish him from that planet, and the planet ends up getting destroyed. So then obviously he's super pissed. He manages to find a way back to Earth. He terrorizes Earth. Maybe that's when you could introduce some X-Men into it when he comes back. Who knows? Because you can have Professor X there as part of the Illuminati. Maybe even have a showdown with Wolverine then if Jackman's up for it. And basically then, in order to defeat Hulk, because he's so rampageous back on Earth, is to mold Banner and the Hulk again to create something more even, because they're two worlds apart now. And like you say, Bruce is getting really ill because he hasn't got the Hulk. Hulk is going mental and he's going to go nuclear and destroy the whole planet. And they have to create a kind of even part, bring them back together. So that's kind of what I would do with the Hulk. But yeah. So that's the Hulk. Cool. What's next? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Which of our ideas did you like? What do you want to see from the Hulk next? Do you want to see a continuation of the MCU? Do you want to go back in time and start doing some movies and series in phase 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and kind of flesh out the Hulk story now that we've got the rights? Well, not we got the rights, but Marvel Studios have got the rights. But what do you want to see? Let us know. Thank you very much for listening. As always, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're listening to us on a podcast platform, make sure you hit that follow button to get notifications of our latest episodes. Gentlemen, before we go, is there anything else that you would like to say or promote?
Check out Antstream Arcade if you're into retro gaming. It's your hot place for all things retro. Anything from PlayStation 1 to old arcade games, SNES, NES, Amiga, Commodore 64, Spectrum games. They got all kinds of cult classics, from Bubble Bobble to Mortal Kombat to indie games like Flea and lots of other stuff. So check it out.
Cool. And I heard something about the #1 platform, Sacha. Is that correct?
Yeah, they are the #1 retro gaming streaming service on the planet. Forget your Netflix, forget your Amazon Prime. They have over 1,500 games. Those guys can't even touch them. Hell, those guys can't even stream PlayStation 4 games. But yeah, let's go.
Cool, good shout. Get onto Antstream for your retro gaming. It's available on mobile. For in the Play Store. You can get it activated through a web browser on your PC, whatever it is. Yeah, absolutely fantastic platform. Highly recommend it. So that's it. So thank you very much, guys. Until next time, Hulk smash and peace out.